Alright, this is part two. I guess my hard drive filled up before I could get finished up, but we'll do just fine here. We left off right here on the sheet, so about halfway through, if not more so, as these next ones might go a little quicker. Alright, so we're just talking about zooming in and out. So we have a region here. Just by hitting R, I'm zooming in, and hitting letter T, stretching it out, if you will. Let me give us a little more room on the sides. So, like I was saying, I'm a visual person. It helps me to picture my finger attached to the upper right side of this region. So if I hit the letter R, it's going to pull it to the left because it's on the left side in relation to the letter T. If I hit the letter T, it's going to kind of push it over here, and the R is going to drag it this way. So that helps me to remember which one is which. Alright, let's get on to our next shortcuts. Toggle from mixed view to edit view. That's fairly simple. Oops. That's just going to be command, then equals. Up there at the top. It's going to go in between those two views. That's a good one to know. If you're a Mac user and use spaces, you can make a case for doing that instead of this, but if you need to go between these two views, that's the required shortcut for our class. Let's see, what's next here? Using markers. These will require a number pad. If you don't have them, then a number pad, then these get a little tricky. I'll show you what to do on a laptop like mine here without a number pad. First, make sure that the markers part of the ruler is here. The reason I have this space is my scrolling method is set to continuous, so that's why there's this this space here. Anyway, if you do not see this markers ruler, then you'll go up this area here. It looks like a little calendar. Hit that little triangle and drop down, and you'll select markers right there. Make sure it's selected. So once that's selected, you can go ahead and spacebar, and typically what you'll want to do is, as the song's playing, maybe the intro is going on now, you're going to hit enter. So on my laptop I have to hold down function return. That makes it an enter button. You can leave it as location 1. There's a benefit to that, but you can also write, verse 1 or V1. Then we're coming up to the pre-chorus, so I'll hit enter again. I'll call it PC. Then we're into the chorus. Enter again. Call it chorus CH. It's fine. Then in between the chorus and verse 2 might be what I call the tweener, etc. You can just keep going. Alright, so here's the shortcuts for going in between those. On your number pad, you're going to hit decimal. Then if you want to go to marker 1, you'll hit 1, then decimal again. So it's all in the number pad. Decimal, 1 decimal will make that the playhead snap right to there. If you hit spacebar, then you'll go right from there. Decimal 2 decimal will go here, etc., etc. If you need to delete a marker, that's FOII. I believe that's control. If you click, no, that didn't work. Option click on the marker. There it goes. It's gone. That's something I wrestled with. How do I get rid of these? So that's something. If you don't have the number pad, then you'll go to Window. I just pull up this memory locators. The reason this is helpful is because if you're in the mix view and you're dealing with plugins and want these faders, you don't want to have to go back and forth a whole bunch. If you have the markers in place, all you have to do is click where you want to start playing, hit the space bar, and it's playing, and you can make your adjustments there. So using memory locations especially helps you once you get into wanting to work with the mixer and you don't want to have to toggle back and forth a whole bunch. So this can speed up your workflow significantly. Alright, so that's markers. I think you can change the order of the markers. Oh boy. Yeah, never mind. Scratch that thought. Alright, reset fader level to unity gain or any pan knob to center. Here's what I mean by that. So let's say we made some panning decisions, and we made some of these decisions. Let's say under view, let's view send A. Let's hold down Alt to make an assignment. Bus 21. Okay, so here's some things we can do with the command I'm going to show you. We hold down, pretty sure it's Control. Let's see if we get it. Fail. Option is final answer. Option is the correct answer. Your instructor just got a B on that shortcut. So Option, click on that. Option, click on this knob. Watch what happens. And the reason I opened up these is because the default is to have these faders all the way down, so they're not going to be sending anything. If for some reason you want to snap them up to unity gain, up to digital 0, like these are, then you would hold down the same thing, Option, and then click on it, and then they just snap up to that position. So that's a handy one to know. Option kind of sets things up to 0 or center. Okay, so that shortcut involves the mouse. Fat meter view. This one is handy working in a big production group. There's lots of people that want to see the screen. The default view of these meters down here is this. So they're a little skinnier, and the levels, you know, it's a little more narrow. It's certainly visible, but I prefer to do what I call slam dunk, which is all three modifiers: Control, Option, Command. Then click on any meter, and that will make them go to that wider view. So that's fat meter view. The tools and the modes, it's easy. Just kind of superimpose the F1 through, I think, F7 across the top of the arrange view, because they go right across here. So this is going to be F1, F2, F3, F4, F5 picks up here with the magnifying glass. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I have to hold function on my laptop. Yeah, F1, F2, F3, F4. If there's a little arrow, if I keep hitting F4, it's going to go between the different options under that tool. Repeated hitting of that same F key. So F5, that's where we jump over here. F5, F6, F7, F8. You'll see this bar above here. If I click that with my mouse, that activates our smart tool that we've talked about. The other way to activate the smart tool is to hit any of these two F keys in combination. So F6 and 7 will do it. If I hit both at the same time, it activates the smart key. So F5, F6, F7, F8, F9. Let's see if that works with my system. No, it doesn't. It pulls up something assigned to the operating system. But if you bypass those in the preferences, you could access these tools if those are things you use frequently. Some people use the pencil tool a lot. I use that sometimes for automation. All right. Let's see. Let's get going on our other ones. Oh, I wanted to show you one other one. If you find yourself going between a lot of modes here, using the tilde is right above the tab key. You can just cycle through them. It's another way to zip through the different tool modes, or the edit modes, those are called. Excuse me. All right, just a couple left. Naming tracks. So the way I used to name tracks is I'd go to Audio 3 here, I'd double click it, and I'd name it Kick. Then I would hit Return, which essentially hits this OK button. Then I'd go double click this, Snare. With the mouse you can hit this next button. Alright, so that will take you to hi-hat. But there's a way to even get beyond using the mouse here, and that is hold down Command, down arrow. that takes us to our next track. So Tom1, Command down arrow, or Command up arrow if we made a mistake. So that's naming tracks. See, getting into groups. Creating a group first requires selecting. So I can mouse click on this. Then I can, let's just do with these drums that we named. I can select this first one, and if I shift click on this far tom, it selects everything in between. FYI, I think if you hold down Command and click on any other tracks, you can isolate any other tracks you want to be included. So that was Command. That's kind of an Apple thing. Shift click tends to select everything in between. Command click tends to isolate single things you want to add to your selection. Alright, so I selected all these, just good old Command and G as in group. Command G. And I'll bring up this dialog, we can name it drums. You usually want it to be both mix and edit, so I would double check that. Wouldn't worry about VCA, I'd leave the default here. Okay, so check those and just hit OK. That gives us, open the left shutter, there's a drum group now. Now you'll see if I grab a fader, oh man, you should be moving. I gotta look up how to fix this. That's actually why I opened up those other tabs on the group. These should all be moving proportionally. Your next shortcut is to bypass the group. Like if these are all moving, keeping their proportions, and I just wanted to control Tom1. The modifier is control. Just think these are all attached at the hip, and I want to control this one fader. So you hit control. Then it would allow you to do this. I'll look into that fader thing. Try to figure that out sometime. Okay, so that's that. Creating a group and then accessing one fader within it. Bypass plugin. What I mean by this, let's say we had a whole bunch of plugins. We'll hold down Alt, insert some kind of EQ, just something simple. That was on my master fader, so it didn't go to every track. Let's try it over here. Here we go. So now there's a. If you wanted to bypass these, you don't need to click on it, open it, hit bypass. There's a shortcut. You just hold down Command and you click on these and it bypasses. Even these sends, they can get bypassed. So if the view for the sends looks like the default like that, and you wanted to mute them for some reason, you could just Command click on anything you want to bypass. Alright, that's that. Just a couple more. See, option C, what that does is it clears all clips. So if it's a really loud session and there's red little lights over here, you can certainly go with your mouse and click each red light that tells you that at some point in time this track clipped, digitally clipped. Sometimes plugins can clip. Enough audio is going into the reverb plugin or compressor, EQ, whatever, and sometimes these can turn red. So instead, if there's like 50 things and you don't want to mouse click through all 50 clips, you can just hold down Option and hit C, which makes sense because our Command C is for that default copy if you're going to copy and paste things. The last one, nudge regions. You know, that's one I don't use. I need to look that up real quick, which can help us because you can see how to look things up. So we can go to Help in the Pro Tools. There's a plugins. No, not plugins. I want shortcuts. open that up. It should be a PDF of some kind. And I can look for nudge. Editing, nudging. Looks like I have a pretty good hit there. So nudge forward by nudge value. This can be plus key on the numeric keypad or period in the keyboard. Alright, so that's helpful. I'll show you how. If we have this audio and it's out of time, we can select the nudge value to be a certain thing. That's right here. So nudge value, let's say I just want to nudge things forward by a quarter note. So change the nudge value to a quarter note. If I just go and select this audio, if I hit that period, it's going to get nudged forward a quarter note every time I hit that. I'm guessing comma is going to take it back. So that's a good one to know. So you can select, huge tracks of audio. You can select all tracks. You can change the nudge value to a measure. If you're working with film, movies, and you want to change this to feet and frames, you can do that. You can change the nudge value here. You can nudge by a frame. If the sound effect you put in isn't lining up with what is on the screen, then you can nudge it by the nudge value until it looks right, sounds right. Alright, well that is all. I hope this is helpful, and good luck on your quiz.